4 fouls, Mike. He's been playing out there for 4 minutes with it.
Dubio Keke with 2. Now Johnson up top. We're going to see Doobie at the scorer's table, and now we're going to get an offensive foul against Darden with 6:03 to play.
And there's that new rule.
Actually, it's going to be on Lawrence Cooks, excuse me.
You have to set yourself if you're going to set a screen.
So Cooks picks up his 3rd. Price goes to the bench. Okeke comes back in. Eagles have a 12-point lead, 6:03 remaining. But you can't sleep on this Pirates team.
No, the way they shoot the 3, and as long as you got number 3 out there, Chivas and Cooks, you're in danger. You want to run your offense, get the great-looking shots. That's how you got back into this thing.
Cooks with it up top. Nice roll for Broman. Basket and a foul.
Mike, now you know why he averaged 49. He knows how to have body control. Watch his body control on him. He takes the hit and then finishes. If you watch his eyes, he's still watching the ball to get it up to the rim.
Great roll cut.
That's how guys average 49 a game. You finish plays.
A miss, so the Eagles will stay up by 14. Broman's missed 2 at the line, but we'll excuse him.
But he's supposed to get that 3-point play. He made it tough.
Yeah.
2 points.
84-70. Winthrop's lead is 14. Last thing you want now is Hampton to chip away like they did in the second half. Here's Darden in traffic and blocking foul against the Eagles. 5:33 to play.
Mike, anytime you leave your feet, yep, and that's what Coach Kelsey is telling him. He had position, but he jumped. Yep. He had his hands extended. There was verticality there, but he left the ground.
So Xavier Cooks picks up his 3rd. And there goes the mystery. One of the fouls I thought they assigned to Cooks earlier was one that they had actually assigned to Zach Price. So that's why Price has the 4. And now we're going to get a miss by Darden. And maybe Bobby, the team's getting a little bit fatigued a little bit. Sometimes when you see free throws missed late, that might be an explanation.
Well, it's gone up and down. And the shots, Mike, have not come easy. They've been contested rather than from the 3. And they're driving to the rim. There's a lot of physical play going on.
Whistle before the shot attempted. And they're going to go over to the scorer's table. It's a timing issue, you think, Bobby?
You know, Coach Jordan is telling them over there. He said, look, we're good. There's a time clock, something maybe about the clock. But he's trying to tell his players.
Second is good.
Plenty of time. Now they're coming full court. But they'll put some pressure on the front 2 people.
Ball's going to be thrown away. It's going to go to Hampton here. I thought that was last touched by...
It hit off Keon Johnson's head.
Off to the initial bobble. Oh, yeah, it went off his head. You're right. Good eyes, Coach.
It's point guard skills. See the floor, man.
Jimmy Gavin, I think, is going to have to get some medical attention. He's got, looks like a little bit of a cut on his elbow.
When he fell down here between the 2 players and he kicked the ball, he smacked his elbow down, and that's exactly what happened.
So Jeff Lauer's going to put some application on there, and here comes Joshua Davenport, who's played really nicely off the bench for the Eagles.
He has. He's played under control, Mike. He's doing the things that he's capable of. He has shown some leadership and some enthusiasm out there.
13-point lead for the Eagles. Lawrence Cooks, 22 points. Now Johnson. Eagles have done a nice job containing him.
Squirming through there to get to his man right there.
Darden almost tangled up. Now Chavis. Chavis kicks it back for Cooks. Those 2 have been a big combination. Now Adams, I think that was tipped by Okeke. Diving on the floor, Cooks. Ball loose. And it's going to be Eagle basketball. They got a timeout. Cooks was calling for the timeout. He had possession long enough, and it was awarded. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it right here. But what a heads-up play, and that's something that, with the new rules, coaches cannot call that timeout. So what a headsy player and a headsy move there by Xavier Cooks. But we knew last year early on what his basketball IQ was like. We know it's pretty high.
But Mike, I like that new rule because what it does
is puts more emphasis on the players.
Well, yeah, exactly. It puts ownership to the players. Don't have my coach bail me out. I'll bail myself out. That's part of the game.
That was Aussie rules football, not basketball.
Now, here's something different. We haven't seen that in the scouting report. A 1-2-1-1, Mike.
Yep.
That is going to be a trap as soon as that ball comes in.
Eagles are going to get it to Jimmy Gavin. And now they're going to go back in coverage. Ball's going to be knocked out of bounds by Darden. Buck Joyner wanted a armbar push by Gavin there.
Anytime you're running against pressure like that, you don't want to really dribble, especially in a 1-2-1-1. And Coach Kelsey, get the ball up, get it passed around.
Eagles have 18 on the shot clock, under 5 to play. Eagles getting into their offense. Shot clock under 10. Gavin lifts up. Three is good for Jimmy Gavin.
And that's a great little play right there. And we're going to give Jeff Lahr an assist because he got Gavin back out on the floor.
What a debut by Jimmy Gavin. Right, that's his 5th three. Now Darden lifts up for 3, swishes. That's the first 3 ball for Darden. Now that was a coach called timeout, but it was a dead ball. This is going to extend to a full timeout because we are within 30 seconds of 4 minutes. So this is going to stretch into a full media timeout. 4:20 to play. Winthrop's lead is 13, 87-74 on the Big South Network.
And he's shooting the ball well. He's getting to the rim. He's got a good mixture of an arsenal, so you just can't play him as a three-point shooter. He's strong enough to get to the rim, and he's intelligent enough. Here's the key to the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Winthrop handling pressure.
Into Broman. Up the floor, Johnson. Eagles have some good ball handlers on the floor right now.
Well, you'll see Hampton pick the pace up now in the pressure. They'll gamble more.
Eagles tried the backdoor cut up ahead. Intercepted by Cooks in the backfield. Up ahead, Broman. Eagles will slow it down. They want to eat some clock here.
Smart move right there. Now, even though it's a 30-second, you're still up 25 seconds at a time. Get a basket. Close that coffin a little better.
Now,
close the lid.
Foul away from the basketball here. 3:52 to play. It's going to be an offensive against the Eagles. Keon Johnson.
Swinging shoulders, he said. Yeah. So his shoulders came up from the body. Again, like this is all new adjustment for these teams and teams across the country with the new rules. They're so used to the physicality of it being manhandled and hand checked. Now it's something different.
Xavier Cooks, Jimmy Gavin, beyond Broman, Keon Johnson, and Dubio KK on the floor for the Eagles. That last foul, the third on Keon. So for the Hampton Pirates, Lawrence Cooks, Brian Darden, Quinton Chivas, Charles Wilson Fisher.
And Mike's with the next rebound for Cooks, he'll have a double-double.
Long three, in and out, no good. Rebound, Jimmy Gavin. There's that extra rebound you wanted.
There it is. That's his double-double.
3.5 to play. Winthrop's lead is 13, 87-74.
Excuse me. I was giving that to Cooks.
Here's a miss inside. Gavin left it short. Up ahead, Darden's the wing three. Xavier Cooks, I think, got a finger on it. Back out to Darden. Another three attempt. This one is good. Can't give him too many looks. 3:09 to play, and it's a 10-point game.
Mike, and you just fouled a three-point shooter right there, coming over the back in the backcourt.
So Reginald Johnson has picked up his 4th foul, Bobby. And now Bjorn Broman is at the line shooting 2 with both teams in the bonus and the double bonus for the Pirates. And Broman
Mike,
makes the free throw.
One of the things that Coach Kelsey was so upset about at halftime was the offensive rebounding. Okay, they've only have 4 in the second half. Hampton, they had 10 in the first half. So accomplish that goal.
Well, one thing I think that's interesting about Pat Kelsey is they have a knack for finding players traditionally and non-traditionally. Look at Jimmy Gavin at Crohn's disease. Was diagnosed with that in high school. Didn't have a scholarship coming out of high school, went to Mississippi State for a semester, went to Bradley, was a walk-on for Bradley, and then went to Wisconsin Parkside, where he was a big part of their success for 2 years, and then coming here as a grad student. 2:40 to play. Winthrop's lead is 9.
And Mike, for our fans, another new rule is there's no longer a 5-second count on the dribbler.
Kick out to Broman. Shot clock winding down. In traffic, Broman. The floater is good! Big time hoop. The Eagles back up 11, 2:21 to play. Up and under, no good. Chivas the rebound, and he's going to get a basket and a foul underneath.
Tell you, the Eagles have kept Chavis kind of quiet.
6 points in the second half. He has a chance for 7 if he gets the free throw.
I mean, they've held him to 6 points in 18 minutes. And there it is where Chavis is just, his upper body strength is really phenomenal.
That's number 4 on Keon Johnson. Back into the game is Imani Miller, the Knoxville, Tennessee native. To the bench goes Lawrence Cooks. Chavis at the line. For the three-point play, makes it. He's got 25 points. Eagles outlet it up ahead to Dubio KK. Now Cooks. Up ahead, Gavin. Gavin in traffic. Layup is good with Chavis. Drake right behind him.
He's got a cramp and a half right now. His right calf is cramped up.
Now a foul on the floor here with 2 minutes to go. And Jimmy Gavin calling for some water. That's going to be the second foul on Bjorn Broman with 2 minutes to go. 10-point game. And the free throw is good for Brian Darden, 12 points. Phoebus High School from Hampton Roads area. Grew up in Hampton. Back to a 9-point game. Second one is good for Darden. And it goes to Broman. Splits 2 defenders and is going to draw a foul. Adams and Darden impeding the progress.
Mike, one of the things for our young point guards out there, if we can get a replay on that, when that double team came, he put the ball out between them and then went after it that way. So he wasn't trying to tuck it to his waist where the defenders could maybe tie him up. He put it where they couldn't get to it and split that double team right there.
There you see the numbers on Broman. 6 foot, 177, the freshman from Duluth, Minnesota, a parade All-American. And he makes the first. First time Winthrop has had a player named to the parade All-American team.
Tell you what,
he's playing like it, right?
He certainly is living up to his billing right now. But the most impressive thing for me, Mike, is his composure.
Absolutely.
He has not been rattled, and they've come after him. They've fouled him. They're forcing him to make free throws.
Second one is good, and Broman with 18 points. Cooks on the baseline. Ball tipped. Cooks tips it, and it's going to be out of bounds. Last touch by the Eagles. 10-point game, 1:47 to play.
Davenport was not going to give that baseline up right now. Pretty good defense right there by the Eagles.
Eagles had 60 points at the half. At 95 now. Dubio KK affecting that shot. Chavis, the stick back dunk.
Tell you what, he was quiet for 18 minutes, but he wants to be heard again.
Well, Chivas having a monster game for Hampton, as is Lawrence Cooks. And Xavier Cooks travels with 1:27 to play. 8-point game.
And Mike, time score on the Eagle side right now. They can afford to use 30 seconds on each possession and limit Hampton from, shooting threes and getting back into this ball game.
Keon Johnson working on Darden. There's the hedge by Dubio KK. And it goes Chavis blocking a foul. Ball drops, and Chivas will go to the line. That's not what the Eagles wanted. 29 points.
Winthrop's going to get the ball in the hands of your best free throw shooters.
Well, it's not like Hampton has a bunch of 7-footers out there right now either. Both teams going a little bit on the smaller side.
And that's because Hampton wants to go full court press. They want to face guard, trap.
There's a miss and a foul in the rebounding action with 1:18 to play on Joshua Davenport. So now a 2-shot foul with the clock not moving for the Pirates.
Like I kind of thought that Josh was getting pushed underneath there from behind on that play right there.
First on Joshua Davenport. That's not what the Eagles wanted right there. And at the line, Kalen Fisher, the freshman from Chicago, Illinois.
You don't want the clock stopped and giving Hampton points.
Well, an advantage there, the miss on the first free throw for Fisher. First collegiate game, he's got 6 points.
Well, Coach Kelsey's replacing with Dew because they cannot afford if Fisher misses the free throw.
Got to get the rebound.
Yeah, you got to have possession of that.
But you can't foul.
No.
And the second one is a make. So 1 out of 2. That's 7 points for the freshman. Cooks gets grabbed by the freshman, his second foul. And with 1:15 to play, 5-point lead. Eagles shooting 2.
Well, we'll see Hampton, Mike, playing this full court pressure and fouling right away. If they don't get the steal, they'll try to bump Winthrop, knock them off, and try to get the steal. If not, they're going to immediately foul.
Both teams have 3 double-figure scores. Both teams have 2 20-point scores. And Cooks makes the first. He's got 21. 4 for 7 at the line for Xavier Cooks. Eagles shooting over 70%. 6-point lead. Cooks at the line to make it a 7-point game. Ball tips around and drops. So Cooks, 22 points.
And what you don't want to do right now, Mike, is foul. And that's the thing, you don't want it to stop.
Darden may have had that tip. Chivas tips it out for Cooks. They kick it out. 3 for Miller, no good. Or Fisher, excuse me. Now Eagles with less than a minute to play have the ball in a 7-point lead. Gavin gets it up the floor for Keon Johnson.
And again, Mike, the clock and score is on Winthrop's side right now.
Now a foul on the freshman Fisher with 43.2 ticks remaining. Jimmy Gavin getting the 5 Eagles on the floor together. And now Keon Johnson, a familiar spot. Free throws late in a game. That's the 10th point for Keon Johnson. 8-point lead for the Eagles. Johnson 83% at the line last year. Makes both here. And that's 11 points. And the Eagles now a 9-point lead, 38 seconds to play. Here's the pull-up on the baseline. No good. Okeke tips and a foul underneath with 31.6 seconds remaining. That's number 4 on Dubie Okeke. 31.6 ticks remaining. It's going to put Wilson Fisher at the line. Wilson Fisher playing with 4 fouls. And makes on the first. So he has 3 points. Quinton Chivas coming back on the floor. Second one is a miss. And a foul underneath against Xavier Cooks with 31.6 remaining. The Eagles, or was it a lane violation?
Mike, I thought Rome had a pretty good block out right there on the shooter.
New Winthrop president enjoying the game today.
Homecoming, he's 1-0.
Second one drops in for Wilson Fisher. 7-point lead, 99-92. Eagles get the inbound to Johnson. Past Miller. Circles in front of the Winthrop bench. Keeps the dribble. Great ball handling there by Keon Johnson. Now calls a timeout here with 22.7 ticks remaining. There's 0.7 of a second between the game clock and the shot clock. So Eagles will have another inbound here. So a good timeout and a great job by. And that is despite not having a winning record overall last year. 17-18. They were 8-8 in conference play. Cooks to trigger the inbound. Adams to guard. And a big sideline out of bounds for the Eagles. Into Davenport. And Davenport is going to be fouled by Deontay Adams. That's only the second foul on Adams, so it'll put Josh Davenport at the line. Davenport's had a pretty good game, 9 points. And he'll make the first of 2.
Mike, and one of the things that Winthrop has done is they've made more free throws now than what Hampton has shot.
First 100-point game in an opener since Avett College in 1989. Eagles now 101-92 on the second make. But that's a trend that the Eagles saw in the exhibition games. And they've been able to do that here, and that is make more free throws than the other team attempts. Here's Darden, the pull-up. In and out, no good. Broman tips it around. It's going to be tipped by Cooks, out of bounds, last touch by Winthrop. 12 seconds to play. Eagles lead by 9.
Well, Mike, I'm going to tell you what. Hampton is an impressive team. Winthrop did a good job of keeping Presley off the floor with those fouls, but they're going to win some games and make another run at the MEAC title.
How about the big man out there? Charles Wilson Fisher burying the outside 3. 6'9" redshirt sophomore. So now a 6-point game, 101-95, 7.4 ticks remaining, and now ball security paramount for the Eagles to salt this game away, because you know
once you start taking it up the floor, you need possession over position at that point.
Each team has 1 timeout left. 49 fouls in this game. 27 for Hampton, 22 for Winthrop, and you see the score. 6-point advantage for the Eagles.
Well, we're seeing the new rules, Mike, and the kids are going to have to get adjusted to that.
Broman will trigger the inbound. And he has Devontae Adams on him. And it goes to Gavin. Gavin puts both hands on the ball and gets fouled immediately with 6.1 ticks remaining. The foul will go against Amani Miller, the freshman from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Mike, I tell you what, Gavin did a pretty smart thing. When he got it and felt pressure, he brought it to his body rather than extend it. Because if it would have been extended, probably been a jump ball.
Right, but he pulled it in and kind of ripped a little bit to secure the bat, almost like a running back holding it going through the line.
Absolutely, great analogy. And consequently, he's going to add a few more points to his game. And that is, we now have 5 players for Winthrop.
What a debut. 9 of 11, Bobby. 5 of 5 from 3. 3 for 4. This is a guy that, because of Crohn's disease, did not play his final 2 years in high school. A walk-on at Bradley and played in Division II last year, last 2 years. Here's Fisher for 3. And that horn's going to sound, and Winthrop has gone on to win the game. 102-95. Their first opening day win with over 100 points since November 25th, 1989, when they scored 103 against Avett College. And here, they beat a good Hampton team that went to the tournament last year, the NCAA tournament, by 7, 102-95.
We had a belated fireworks tonight. We had some scoring going on. That was a great game to call, a great game to watch, a lot of different runs, a lot of different personalities, and really, Winthrop did not depend on Keon Johnson in this game, Mike. And that's a positive because Keon Johnson's a firepower offensively. But we saw what Winthrop can do when their bigs go out. They can go small, and they can be very competitive.
Well, we'll obviously run